Hi, welcome to the very first session of the Global Café. I'm Michelle Koch, the director of the Muslim Jewish Solidarity Committee. The Global Café is where you get to meet activists, leaders, and organizers from around the world who do the good work and dedicate themselves to bringing people together, to building bridges, tearing down walls. To stay informed and learn about upcoming Global Café conversations, follow the Muslim Jewish Solidarity Committee and our co-sponsors on our social media. And you can also join our mailing list by going to our website at muslimjewishsolidarity.org. Today we will be meeting with Sylvia Acan. She is the Director of Golden Women Vision in Uganda. She will be joined in conversation by Greg Davis of Safe Alliance for Interfaith Leaders in Columbus, Ohio. Greg and Sylvia actually have known each other for a while now. In 2017, Greg was one of the organizers of the first Interfaith March for Peace and Justice. And that was a great, inspiring success. And so by 2018, it spread to other cities and countries. And additional marches took place in Malawi, Pakistan, Kashmir, India, and Uganda. And Sylvia Acan organized the march in Uganda. Sylvia isn't just any organizer. She is exceptionally inspiring because in spite of many challenges, tragedies, and trauma that she had to endure, she kept going, and not just for herself. She helped many others rise and heal with her. After living through terrible conflict and war, she really chose to overcome by working for unity and for peace. And we just all have so much to learn from her. So please take a listen.
Hello, and welcome to the first ever installment of the Global Café. We're very honored this morning to have Ms. Sylvia Acan as our first ever guest. And Ms. Acan is founder and director of Golden Women Vision in Uganda. In 2018, she became the first ever recipient of the King Bakdong Prize, which was sponsored by the Korean Council, and has since she's become a member of the Survivors Global Network with Nobel laureate Dr. Denis Mukwege. So again, we're very honored to have Sylvia, and I'm very honored to call you a friend, Sylvia. And so just wanted to start, if we could, by asking you if you might talk a bit about the recent history of Uganda and the Ugandan Civil War, just to help our audience to understand the context that you have been working in.
Yeah, so during the insurgency in northern Uganda, we suffered trauma, stigma, a lot of abductions. We had a man called Joseph Kony. He was a rebel commander. He was a terrorist. He had his army where he abducted the girls, the children, the women, and the men, regardless of any sex. The women and the girls were taken as slaves, as wives, forced abduction. The children they faced a lot of stigma and trauma, whereby the women became the child mothers, as myself became a child mother at the age of 13. So it was so terrible that the women themselves could not handle situations in captivity, which was from the Lord's Resistance Army, LRA War, which lasted for over 20 years of insurgency in northern Uganda. We lost our people. We lost very important people who could have changed our country. We lost those ones with very good ideas. They were killed. In fact, during that war, it was not easy. The background of the LRA war in northern Uganda left people with nowhere to go. You become homeless. Like I myself became homeless, where I grew up in the IDP camp, where I could beg for food, I could beg for study so that I could study, and then try to fight this war through my brain by bringing the communities together and making sure there's no more war anymore. LRA war made us, we became like we are not human beings. The Lord Resistance Army was a terrorist. They were not good people. They were killers. They were abductors. They could burn people's houses. At the end of it all, when you're abducted, you come home, you don't get anyone. Like, for example, myself, when I was abducted and went to captivity, I was made to carry heavy, heavy luggage. I carry heavy luggage on my head, my chest, my arms, where I used to have a lot of problems with my arm. And we had to foot 100 miles. Then the next day, the LRA did not have even their vehicles. We were made to carry heavy luggage, and even they can give you their heavy guns to carry, young as we were. So the trauma and the stigma has never gone. It is still there. But for like I talk, I become a voice to the voiceless, because there are others who cannot talk. So they are dying silently, whereby the war also in northern Uganda made the women commit suicide, even the men themselves. I last recall when I was abducted and my father was calling me because my sister was shot just near me when we were running. I was at the age of 13 years old. When she was shot, then I couldn't believe my eyes, lying in a pool of blood. So what happened was another rebel came and started slaughtering her like with a panga, like an animal. Then I became confused, and the rebel went with me. When we went about 3 miles away, I heard my father, "Please leave Sylvia. You have already killed Rose." Rose was my elder sister. So she was also 1 month pregnant when my mother told me. Then when I came back, when I was abducted, I went into captivity, and I was rescued by the government soldiers. So they thought I was dead because they threw the bomb and people were running. Then I have to hold my hand up. Please, I need a rescue. So I was taken to the rehabilitation center called Gusco, where I was told, "You are going to stay here for 6 months." But I told them I'm staying for 3 months only, not 6. So I begged them, I want to go back to see my family. LRA war brought a lot of history and trauma. It will never disappear from my mind. Greg, I have to go. Then when they accepted that I should go to my parents, I went home. I was not escorted by any soldier, but with the staff of Cusco, where I went home. I was asking, "Where is my father?" Then immediately when the people in community saw me, they ran to me. They found I was grown. That, "Is this Sylvia?" "Oh, she's the one." Then I was like, "Where is my father?" Then they told me, "Please sit down," because I was really my dad's daughter. Then I asked again, "Please, can you tell me where my father is?" So I was running everywhere. They said, "Okay, sit down." your father was killed, was shot the day that he was crying with your name. The day your sister was killed was the day your father was also shot. Then I couldn't talk. I said, where is my mother? Then they told me your mother was kidnapped. She never came back. So I had nowhere to go. I had to go. I went to the IDP camp. Then one of the priests called Father Alex Enzio PZ. He was an Italian priest. He was in the village called Paton. Then he told me, please, we have to look. There's a lady who came back from captivity. We need to help this lady. So when he came, he found I was in the IDP camp begging for food, and he started helping me paying my school fees so I could go to school. He told me, you find a place where you can eat, then we can pay your school fees. Then I said, it's okay. Even if I eat from the dustbin or the food that people have thrown, I still want to live, so long as it will not kill me. And that was in my mind. So the LRA war made, I think there's a reason for me to be alive, because I thought I had no reason to live. Then I said to myself, no, I have people out there. I need to think about them. My mother is not there. Then when I went to the IDP camp, it's a very big place with very many people. Then I could sit under the tree and see the mothers struggling. Then one time I went to one of the woman's place. I stayed. Then I could see a mother in her. I found she needed someone to talk to. Then I started talking to her. When I see a mother, a woman, I see a mother and my sister who died. When I see a man, I see my brother and my father in him. That's why sometimes when I could read my brother, so I feel I'm healed in that way. I feel the trauma disappears. So LRO killed so many people, left us with nowhere to go. That is LRA war, which was not very good. We are still trying, Greg, to recover from this war. We have not yet recovered. Many people have not recovered because sometimes they can still remember what happened. But then I became an activist. I have to, yes. Yeah.
First, I mean,
it was not easy.
There's no words that I could possibly say. It's obvious. I'm just so sorry to hear about all that you have had to experience, and I so admire your resilience and your creativity and just your compassion. You mentioned that you decided to become an activist, and you also mentioned that in some of those moments of connecting with people, that you feel the trauma disappear for a moment. And I was just rereading the article about you and Golden Women Vision, and that was published in PRI, and was just struck by the therapeutic value of sitting together with other women who have endured the same things, and baking together and being together and sharing acceptance. And so I wonder if first you might describe the sort of the earliest days of Golden Women Vision, like when you maybe came up with the idea originally. Where did the name come from? Also, any of the first experiences that you had with other women, you know, in those early days. When did you found Golden Women Vision originally? What year?
Yeah, Golden Women's Vision, I founded in 2011. In 2011 to date, with the aim of bringing the survivors together, because some of the survivors thought there was no reason for them also to be alive. There was a lot of suicidal cases. So there was a lot of suicidal cases whereby we were losing so many people during that time, because most of the survivors came back from captivity and found they had no home, they had no parents, and some of them were chased away from home. Why did they go to the jungle to stay in the bush, and where they were abducted forcefully by the rebels? So in the community, people were not thinking about them. They could chase them away. But I told them it was not out of their plan. They were forced to be abducted and they went in captivity. So there is need for me to come and begin making this organization so that we could know that I have to think about the survivors. There was important need for the survivors, because the stigma, the trauma, even up to now, as I said, it still it's on and off, on and off. Those who came back from captivity still face the nightmares of what happened in the bush, because there were a lot of killings whereby they shoot people, you see many deaths, you climb and you run. So there was a lot of killings, which we saw with our eyes. Very many people dying, seeing with your eyes. So I decided that Golden Women Vision, why I said Golden Women Vision is that a woman is a gold. A woman, we are golden women, so we are not the women who give up easily in life. We have to be strong women. Yes, we have to be strong women who can survive, who can face the resilience, and then also make sure things change. When things change, we save lives. And the creativity of what I made in Golden Women Vision, by engaging the survivors together, we did not think about only people from captivity, from the bush, who were abducted by the LRA war, but we have also vulnerable women who are suffering, who we have widows whom their husbands were killed during war. So we also have them there. We have the child-headed households where the parents were all killed during war. So we have I have about 23 families whereby they don't have parents. So when I did the assessment myself before founding this organization, I found those families were going to school in shifts. So like today, 3 children goes, then 1 person remains at home. Next time, this one goes, then the other one remains at home. So they were child-headed households. Then I was like, how can I support this? So I had to go to social media and talk about it. We have this, but no one can support them. People could just say, oh, sorry. You see? So I found it was very important to fund this organization.
So one follow-up question absolutely. So you founded the organization to meet a need that you were seeing all around you. And over time, I know that your work has taken you into all kinds of different things, microfinance initiatives, baking that I mentioned before, and training women in practical ways. What are these? Those are adorable.
This is what they have. This is we have also this. We have a giraffe. You see, this is what
awesome.
I made the women to be.
How
They
are you
have to be
making
very
these?
creative. So they made many. I have many in my office. You can
That's
see.
fantastic. We need a link so we can. Oh
You
my
have-
gosh! Those are great.
Yeah.
Those are for. Are those
Yes.
for? Those are for sale, presumably.
Yeah, we
Well,
made them so that if to fundraise for the organization.
Well, we need to share a link for that, Sylvia. We should make it possible for people to buy those. That's adorable. I love them.
Thank you.
So I didn't know that. I didn't know you were doing that.
We are doing, during the baking of the cakes, we bake the cakes for the wedding. We bake the cakes, and then also we give to the children, the household. We train the women. I became a baker. Then I said, since I don't have money to pay for the facilitator to come and train the women to bake the cake, I went to learn for baking the cake from somewhere.
So you're so you're a trainer. You became a trainer also. So
yeah,
you're a baker and a baker trainer.
Yes, I became a trainer, and I didn't hire anyone now.
And now evidently a stuffed animal manufacturer as well.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
that is fantastic. Well, let's see. We talked about some of those things, and then how about this one? Because I know that we're on a Zoom meeting that's going to cut us off at some point, and I would love, because with Global Café, I think one of the hopes is that we might reach some young people and some young activists, and so I wonder. There's maybe two parts to this question, and you can take whichever part you'd like. So part one would be maybe, what do you hope for in the next 10 to 15 years in the future? And then part two, if you could communicate any message, Sylvia, to young people who are interested in the peace and advocacy work that you do, what would you tell them?
By the way, I have to say this. I was the first lady to spearhead the Interfaith March for Peace and Justice in northern Uganda.
Yes, you were.
Because no one had ever done this march, so we had to march, and I became the first lady to do the Interfaith March for Peace and Justice through the support of you people, which was very good, and it changed the life of the people. So the message that I can say to the young people is this: we need to fight to bring peace wherever we are. We need to practice and bring peace minus violence in any country. You need to be very creative in what they are doing. They need to plan very well. They need not to waste time, because time will never wait for anyone. So they need to engage themselves in various activities by also, as you, for example, you can see we have the child mothers, we have the young youth I told them, don't be loitering around the street, do something. So when they started making these small animals here, you can see, they could, even without the machine, because it was expensive to buy the machine. So we have to use the needle, using something called silver.
You make those with
so
needles?
you make it, yes.
Those are made by hand?
Here. Yes.
That's amazing.
So they have to make the parts. So the creativity came that I have to look at making sure the eyes looks well, and then it has the ears. You can see?
That's
Yes. And
fantastic.
a small tail.
Is each one
So
different a little bit? Is each one of those like its own, like, you know, they look
we
pretty
have this.
distant.
This is elephant.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That's
Then we
beautiful.
have the giraffe. This is giraffe.
I'm getting one of those. Um, well,
Wow, that is great.
I'm gonna
We
find a
can
way.
stand.
You know,
Thank you.
just watching the speech from Dr. Mukwege from his 2018 Nobel laureate speech. One of the things that he mentioned was, and he was saying all of this in reference to the Democratic Republic of Congo. And he mentioned only prosecution of those responsible for atrocities that had taken place would lead to lasting change. In other words, without justice, there cannot be peace. So I wonder in Uganda, after all of the atrocities that took place with the LRA war, has there, in your opinion, been justice that has been served? Is that an ongoing process? Is that something that's failed to happen?
Yeah, like in Uganda, we have the Dominic Ongwen case, which is the case is being delayed. We have the one, we have Dominic Ongwen, who is in The Hague. We have Four Yellows case, which is also ongoing. But you know, the perpetrators, the crimes have already been committed, and the perpetrators need to be punished if they have done that. So that if they don't punish them, which means we have people out there who might plan again to do the same thing again. So if they don't punish them, it means that it is a continuous thing. It will give a way for other people to continue doing the same thing. So I think once the crime has been committed, the perpetrators need to face the atrocities they have done. Because if you are to see these, those who are now facing this, who are in the trial, they rape. You mean not all? It's called gang rape. A woman is being gang raped with very many, like 10 men sleeping with that. It's very bad. So it's not healthy for a human being, not even for animals. So they have done a very bad thing, and they need to be punished for what they have done. If they leave it like that, it's serious. And where will the world go in 10 years to come? We don't know. Now, my worry is Joseph Kony, who is the leader, the rebel leader, is still alive.
Is he in The Hague, did you say? Is he in The Hague, or is he still in Uganda?
Dominic Ongwen is in The Hague.
Okay.
But Four Yellow is in Uganda. Four Yellow's case is being handled here in Uganda. And in my district, Gulu here. They normally bring him here, Gulu, so I could stand on the way seeing the vehicle. When they're taking him, you don't see him. He's in the hide, in the vehicle that you cannot see him.
Does he still have followers? Are there still people that are loyal to the LRA?
The lawyers?
Yeah,
We have the lawyers for.
not lawyers for that.
What?
Are there people that still consider themselves that they belong to the LRA? That in the case of the Civil War, and this is something I was thinking about earlier. You reach out to families. You help families with domestic violence. You help all kinds of people in your area. Are there people who were members of the LRA who are known that people know they were part of that, and they still live in the community? Is that the case, or did they disappear? I mean, how do you heal from a civil war like that?
Okay. you know, people who went for, like, who joined the civil war, they were being forcefully abducted by the rebel leader. They were just forcefully abducted. They just abduct you when you are sleeping. Then when they went to the captivity, they could not, they had to escape coming back home because they were not part of them.
Oh. So that
Yes,
they
they were
they
not part
they
of
so
them.
that many of the soldiers, if I understand correctly, many of the soldiers were themselves abducted and forced to be part of the LRA. Is that correct?
No, most of the soldiers, okay, the LRA leader had his own soldiers, but they were few. So he went as far as abducting, forcefully abduction, abducting the women and the children, the girls. The girls became their wives and also carrying the luggages. So they felt the ladies were just there as wives and bearing children. So because since it was not their hope to stay in captivity, they were trying with all their level best to escape from the captivity,
Sure.
coming back to the community. So when they came back to the community, some community did not like welcome them. Others were welcomed, but most of them now are they face gender-based violence
Yeah.
in their homes. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Mm.
I'm so thankful for all of the work that you do, Sylvia, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity to finally get to speak with you after knowing you for these years. And I'm so grateful for your time. I think that we should definitely find a way. I don't know if you have a link that we could share or something so that we can have people purchase some of those stuffed animals. I don't know if there's a way of getting them shipped
Yeah.
around the world, but I think there is. And so
Mm.
I would love to make that happen. But I just want to thank you for being our first ever guest on the Global Cafe, and just for all the work that you have done and continue to do for the world.
Thank you so much, Greg. As I said, you mean a lot to us. You are like a brother. You are like a father. So you mean a lot. And thank you so much for the great courage that you gave. Please, don't leave us alone. Continue giving. If you give me the courage, you make me strong, so I will save people in the world with the way I take my life for the others. So long as I still live, I'm still alive, I will continue with all possible ways to fight for total peace in the region, in any way. Thank you so much. I'll continue being an activist throughout my life.
God bless you, Sylvia.
Thank you, Greg.
All right. We'll talk to you later.